All right, 3, 2, 1. Now we're gonna have some fun. So, what is up? We are going to talk about different things, and of course, you know that I start off my lives with a sermon, and today's sermon is going to be as the title states, which is going to say, you have been lied to. So, what do I mean by this? When I say that you have been lied to, what I mean is that the things that you have been taught are belief systems, they are programs. That does not mean that they are necessarily true. You were taught what to think, you were not taught how to think. And this comes out in the case of manifestation, because if you're being told certain things, that this is the way society operates, this is what you do, you go to school, you get a good job, and then you slave away until retirement, right? You can't really enjoy yourself, you have to be a worker bee. You were taught that, okay? And I can only speak for like the United States, especially. What is up, everyone? Is up, everyone? But you know, as it goes, you know, I'm sure this goes on in other countries as well. And I don't know about you all, but in the United States, a school bus and a prison bus look the same, okay? Because school, in my opinion, and I'm sure a lot of you agree with me, is a prison for your mind, because you're taught what to think. You are not taught how to think. You are taught how to read, how to write, math, geography, history, all this stuff, right? But it's coming from elsewhere. It's not coming from you. So you're taught that this is what it is and this is how it is, and you're basically taught to be an obedient servant in your society. You're not taught how to think for yourself, because when you go to school, everyone is like kind of forced to go to school, right? Either that or you're homeschooled, which is still almost the same thing, even though I have no experience with that. But you're taught what to think in terms of, you know, this is what you must do to be a good, upstanding citizen. And if you are taught what to think, there is a less chance of you being taught how to think. And how to think is smartly, with creating what you want, rather than what you have been programmed with. Okay, so when I come on here and I teach individuals, when anyone asks me a question, okay, whether it's someone I'm working with personally or if it's in the comments or whatever, even on a live, I'm like, I don't know what that means. You tell me what you think that means. This is how I am teaching you all to think as sovereign individuals, because if you're asking me what I think about a situation, what does that say about you? So you have thoughts about the situation, let them come up, and your immediate thought about whatever situation that is occurring in your experience right now, your immediate thought is where your dominant belief is in that area. And that's how I teach you how to think, not what to think. Because it doesn't matter what the fuck I think, right? It matters to me what I think, but you really want to carry yourself with the knowing that what you think of a situation is what matters more than what I think, than what your grandmama thinks, Meemaw, Peepaw, everyone, okay? It don't matter what anyone thinks. It matters what you think. It doesn't matter if everyone in society thinks a certain way, because you're not society. Like, okay, someone could say, yes, the collective consciousness, we're all one, but you are still the only operating system whose controls you abide by, right? Like, you are the only one. So if you think that society is thinking a certain way and you don't agree with it because something doesn't resonate with you, that's totally fine, but you're not trained to do that when you enter this matrix society. What you are mostly programmed to believe is that everyone else is doing it, so you have to because everyone else is. But that's not a reason, is it? Okay, because there are a lot of things, and I when I was forced to go to school, I never liked it, even since like nursery school, whatever the fuck, I don't know what they call it in other countries, but here it was like nursery school, kind of like pre-K, and I hated it from the minute. And like, this is, I didn't know, I'm just like, why do I have to go there? Why do I have to do this? Like, I enjoyed it for the social aspect of like, being around, kids my age at that time, like I enjoyed that. But I'm like, why do I have to go? Like, I don't have to go. Like, I don't like, it never resonated with me. Okay, so you'll know if something resonates with you, whether it's a belief or a thought or a societal program, by how it processes and senses in your physical vessel. So if something is processing in your physical vessel and it's making you constricted and you're like, ugh, that means that your higher self, your consciousness, doesn't agree with something that is being presented. Okay, that's how you can tell, and it's different for everyone. So some individuals, maybe they resonated with going to school, like they want to be a doctor or a lawyer or something that really requires that extended time in school, and they feel good about it. Then that's the choice for them. That is proper. That is not the proper choice for me, or maybe for some of you. But everyone went to college, but everyone is doing this job, but everyone, okay, who gives a fuck? You know what I'm saying? You're not everyone. Like, you're the only thinker, so how can you even compare yourself to anyone else? And what we are programmed to do in society is, this is what history is, this is what math is, this is what reading and writing is. And granted, yes, there are some benefits, obviously, of knowing basic math and how to read and write, communicate in your language. Like, yes, okay, I'm not shitting on all of it, but in terms of like, belief systems, okay, no one is taught that their thoughts create. No one is taught that. So when you're not taught that your thoughts create, but the knowledge is there, and this goes into more like occult symbolism and esoteric and ancient knowledge and things like that. It's not really about manifestation, but if you really understand what occult symbolism is basically showing the deeper layer of manifestation. Okay, it's showing you what has always been in your face, but only a few select individuals think for themselves enough to discover that knowledge. Okay, so why some individuals elevate out of the matrix and some don't, again, they are the only thinker, just as I'm the only thinker. So if you're having a little constricted emotion with that, right, that means that that's not the path for you, because you're constricted. Okay, and you don't like it, and every time it's brought up, like you're like, I don't resonate with that. Like, you don't agree with it, but you might be processing, well, I'm told that if I go to school and I get a good job, then this is going to happen, that's going to happen. But if you don't feel it from the inside out, it is not for you. And that's how you can tell. Okay, and this is for any situation with manifestation or anything like that included. Okay, if it feels like shit, you must have quit. Let that motherfucker go. Just let it go. It doesn't matter what anyone else is saying or doing or thinking. You must have quit. Let that motherfucker go. Just let it go. It doesn't matter what anyone else is saying or doing or thinking. The mainstream narrative, and they are much happier living life on their terms. Now, I'm not saying, to do everything, like just quit your job, pack your bags, whatever. I mean, unless it's something that feels right to you, then yes, do that. But if you are someone who is, if there's a belief system or something that has been plaguing you, if there's a belief system or something that has been plaguing you, let's say, and you're like, I don't like the way this feels, that means that your higher consciousness is not in resonance with it. So you don't need to continue abiding by something just because someone else said that. And your manifestations, things that you desire, things that are, in alignment with all that is, are going to feel good. Even if by your logical ego mind, they might seem like they're out of reach, but, someone might ask, well, but I don't want to work. How am I going to get paid to exist? And you're kind of like in fear of that. But when you think of the freedom that you have, how am I going to get paid to exist? And you're kind of like in fear of that. But when you think of the freedom that you have with being paid to exist, you're like, ooh, that feels good. That is the right trajectory. So that's just a sort of like a guideline of how you can tell if, you know, you're resonating with something. If it feels bad, it's something that you would ideally want to stay away from, even if it's just, you know, clouding out that thought in the moment. But if it feels open, even if it feels like it's impossible because you're programmed to believe that, you know, things like miracles are impossible or they are a miracle, they're like 1 in a million, but it feels good when you think about it, then that's the trajectory that you want to go. And again, how to think for yourself, okay? Because this is kind of like what I was talking about. I kind of segued a little bit, but I feel like it goes in context with what I'm saying. How to think for yourself is precisely that. You have options in front of you. You always have options, okay? You could go this way, you could go that way, you could go here, you could go there, you could go whatever the fuck, okay? So when something is presented to you, how does it make your body process? And this is not, again, this is not necessarily the manifestation, but feelings, emotions, whatever, they're interchangeable, I guess, but they process is like, ooh, yeah, that's exciting. I want to do this. Like it's uplifting and you don't feel constricted, then that's the path you want to follow, no matter how on paper difficult it seems. But if there's a choice that's presented to you, you're like, ooh, like you're kind of shuddering. And I don't mean like, I want to clarify, because if there's something that's presented to you and you're just like, oh, recoil, like, no, that's not for you. But if there's something that seems like it's out of your comfort zone, but you're kind of like, you're a little bit nervous, but you have that kind of excited pull, oh, thank you. Like kind of like the thrill of like, I mean, I love roller coasters. So this is the only example I can give, but when you're online waiting for a roller coaster, it's like, you're not nervous, but you're excited, but you're kind of exhilarated. You're like, ooh, like I can't wait for this shit. Right. But you're kind of like, like, how's it? It's like kind of, I don't know. It's not like a, it's not like you're nervous in a way where it's constricted, where you don't want to do it. It's like, ooh, I'm kind of nervous because this is something I've never done before, but I like it. So that's how you. And again, motherfuckers are going to say, but you said feelings don't matter. No, they don't matter in terms of you knowing what you want in your mind, okay? But if you feel like, oh, how am I going to get that? You're anxious, right? When is it going to get here? No, those feelings don't matter, okay? I'm talking about feeling if someone tells you, do you want to work a 9 to 5 every day for the rest of your life? And you're like, I don't think that resonates with me. Compared to, do you want to get paid to exist? And you're like, oh, I don't think that resonates with me. Compared to, do you want to get paid to exist? And you're like, oh, yeah, I'm excited. Like, but you're kind of nervous. Like, how's this going to happen? But you're more, do you see what I'm saying? There's a difference. And I don't know how to describe it better than that, because this is probably like something that I get asked, like, oh, but feelings don't matter and you don't need to believe in it. And you don't. But if you don't know how to think with what's in alignment with you, then you're going to be lost anyhow. Okay, so this is like the perfect time for me to just wee. So thinking for yourself, thinking for yourself, it comes a little bit with intuition, okay? And intuition is not something so thinking for yourself, the sensation processes in your vessel, okay? Thank you for the gifts, thank you. And how the thing processes in your vessel, if you feel more excited about it, that's where you want to go. If you feel like you're dreading it, then you don't want to go there, and you want to shut off thoughts that entail that you would go there in your imagination. So what do I mean by this? Let's say you want to quit your job and you feel that it's something exciting for you. Like, yeah, like this is something that I want to do because I don't want to work. I don't need this shit, right? But you're like kind of nervous, like, ooh, but I wonder what's going to happen in the next chapter if I quit my job. Then that would be the right decision. Whereas if you're you're like hard body, like, oh, I can't quit my job, like that's a constriction that's trying to keep you down, okay? That's trying to keep you in the same spot that you are, and that is your ego, and that is because of the programming that has been given to you by society, or maybe a personal experience or someone in your life or whatever. Okay, so that's how you can tell the difference. Even if it feels a little bit anxious, but you're excited, you go that way. And that's in terms of your manifesting, right? So even if you've never had a relationship with someone before, and you've just had like friends with benefits or booty calls or whatever, and then you're like, oh, I'd like the thought of the relationship and having everything that I want, and benefits or booty calls or whatever, and then you're like, oh, I'd like the thought of the relationship and having everything that I want, and happy marriage, whatever you want. Okay, but you're like kind of like, oh, I'm nervous, like I've never experienced this, compared to like I'm gonna spend the rest of my life alone. And that's processing different in your vessel. Okay, so anything that you're manifesting, you want to discover how it processes in your vessel. It can be a little bit of anxiety, and that's fine. That's not what's creating. But if it's more excitement and you're just kind of like nervous, like I've never done this before, oh my God, it's like, going bungee jumping for the first time, right? You're just kind of like, oh shit. Okay. Whereas if it's something where, oh, that's not for me, like that's just not for me. Okay. It's like, no, like you know that that's not your preference, then you step away from that, and you don't entertain thoughts that are in alignment with something that's causing you. Then you step away from that, and you don't entertain thoughts that are in alignment with something that's causing you constriction. Because what happens when someone is programmed to believe something is that first they're getting fed thoughts, right? Just to piggyback off of what I said in the beginning, you're getting constant thoughts from when you fucking were forced to go to school. God damn. Like, that is indoctrination. And I could say that whole shit right now. I'm not going to, but I could say that whole shit. I don't even know what the fuck it means, but I know that it was programmed in my mind so vividly that I can say that now. So now it's like, if someone were to, like, it's like a fucking, it's almost kind of like an NPC where it's like, can you recite the Pledge of Allegiance? But I pledge allegiance to the flag, blah, blah. Like, I could say it, and it's a program. Do you see what I'm saying? But if I was never programmed what the Pledge of Allegiance is, I would have no idea, and it would mean nothing to me. I mean, it means nothing to me now. It meant nothing to me then, but it's still a program, okay? So something that you have been told, and this is why even with commercials, even with advertising and movies and shows and pop culture, okay, you're being bombarded by information. If you see it over and over and over and over, it's going to become a belief, okay? So society is programmed with societal beliefs, okay? And, it's just a thought that you keep thinking over and over and over again. So now, if you have a thought that you keep thinking over and over again, it's just going to be your dominant belief in that one area, okay? And when your dominant belief in an area, it can be something that you perceive as positive. Okay, and when your dominant belief in an area, it can be something that you perceive as positive, it can be something you perceive as negative, but it's still a dominant belief. It's going to potentially override a belief that you have, a new belief that you want to install that is contradicting it. Okay, so let's say societal program. Okay, you have to go to work and go to college and get a good job so you could serve the system. Okay, you might believe that. Okay, and because you believe that, because you were programmed that now it's like those are your dominant thoughts. Why? I have to get a job. How is money just going to come to me if I don't have a job? You see, because you were programmed that money can only come to you if you have a job. Do you see that? Okay, so sometimes with my chats on here, I use different examples. Sometimes I use SP. Now apparently we're using money and societal programs, but it's a belief. So now you have to override that belief, and you have to start saying money grows on trees. I have a money tree in my fucking backyard. Fuck you talking about? I shit and $100 bills come out. Okay, whatever it is, right? But you see, because your ego, because the job of the ego, and the ego is not good or bad. It's just in $100 bills come out, okay, whatever it is, right? But you see, because your ego, because the job of the ego, and the ego is not good or bad, it's just there to protect a story. It's there to show you that you have a separate physical vessel than that of your neighbor, okay? But the ego is there to protect a story that you hold. It is there as a guard dog, and I said this in another one of my live streams. So now the ego is like, okay, so this is something that you've been bombarded with information. You need to go to school. You need to go to good college so you can get a good job, so you could because money doesn't grow on trees. So now, because the ego has just heard that so goddamn fucking much, it's like, yeah, all right. This is what we're going to protect. So then when you start learning to think for yourself and you're like, but the money paradigm, that shit ain't even legit, because I could get money just by sitting on my ass. You see what I'm saying? Because money come to you from wherever, as long as you don't limit its source. But you limit its source because you're programmed that you need to have a job. So you limit it. You just blocked a whole avenue way money can come to you, okay? Because what you did is you know, inadvertently, most likely, you were programmed that that's what you have to do. And then what happens is that your ego is like, okay, this is the story we're going with. I'm going to defend this. So now you decide you want to quit your job. It feels good to you, but then the ego, motherfucker, how you going to get money? Don't you know that if you don't have a job, you ain't going to get money, blah, 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 all this shit, right? So the ego, because you've been thinking that so long that it's become a belief because of the thoughts that you were given when you went to fucking school, or by your fucking parents or your caregivers or whoever the fuck else. And they're telling you, but you have to get a good job, motherfucker. That's a program. Yes, it is a big program in society. It truly is, because, like, I mean, I'm not sure. I definitely can say that I've encountered more individuals that are concerned with money coming from a job rather than individuals that are concerned with money just, coming to them because they are the currency, okay? So it's a big program, but it's still a program. It's a societal program that now your ego is saying, okay, we're going to defend this until the end because that's my job, that's my duty. And it's nothing personal, it's just that's how the ego mechanism works in the video game. So then now your job, what you have to do is say, okay, you know what, but I think for myself, and because I think for myself, I know that I am the currency, I'm the source of all my wealth, and money can flow to me easily because I am money, and things that are me come back to me, right? I don't need a job. That's a limiting belief. It's a limiting belief that you need a job to obtain money. I fucking said it. I fucking said it. Now, this is not to shade anyone who, let's say they get paid and in exchange for a service that they're doing and they enjoy it, or they have a career, like let's say they're a lawyer, right? And that's like an on paper job and they enjoy it and they love it. And they're still aware of the mechanics of manifestation, but they're like, no, I love my job and I love it. Then that's them. Okay, but I'm talking to motherfuckers who, because I see this so much, even on TikTok, motherfuckers will be like, I'm on a break at work. Oh my God, I have a 15-minute break. I don't want to go back. Don't fucking go back. My dude, you don't like your job. Why the fuck are you there? And if you love your job, then that's amazing. And you know why you're there, because you love your job. But if you don't love your job, why are you fucking there? Because of a program. Because you were trained that you need to have a job in order to obtain money. And that's the fucking truth, okay? So those of you who I'm talking to, you know who you are. So if you love your job, listen, this don't apply to you, okay? But you were programmed, so now your ego, if you try to quit your job, or let's say you do quit your job, the ego is going to throw all this, the ego going to seem like it's ambushing your motherfucking ass. It's be like, motherfucker, how you going to get paid? This bill is due, that bill is due. Oh, but what about this? What about that? Okay, and then you see, now it's your job to see that I think for myself, and my alignment was, I do not like this job, so I'm just going to quit because fuck that, okay? Because fuck that, who cares? You don't like it, why are you dealing with it? Like I said in one of my recent videos, you don't like something, you do not have to deal with it. You always have a choice in every moment. Okay, maybe one choice might be more on paper to the ego appealing than another one, but you always have a choice. So then it's in resonance with you because you're like, okay, you know what? I understand that I'm the source of all my wealth, and I'm going to quit this job because that's what is processing as the next. That I'm the source of all my wealth, and I'm going to quit this job because that's what is processing as the naturalness of the wish fulfilled. I am money. I am the currency. I don't need a job. The job needs me, if fucking anything, right? So you quit the job, and now because you had a belief system for years, right? You're programmed that you need a job in order to obtain money. The ego, fuck you doing, motherfucker, pa, 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 is gonna be trying to infiltrate that, and then your job now is to remain in the wish fulfilled. Feeling is a secret, right? Not the emotions that the ego is going to try to throw at you, like oh, but how's this going to get paid? But what if that? What your me, mom, peepaw gonna think? I just discovered those words, okay? Me, mom, peepaw. So we're just gonna use them because why the fuck not? And so you have all of them because why the fuck not? And so you have all of these thoughts coming from the ego because the ego is used to the belief system that you need a job for money, right? And so now you're like, but it's in resonance with me of all that is that I get paid to exist. So I don't need a job. The job needs me. Now it's your job to not allow those ego emotions to infiltrate the peace that you have mastered in the decision that you know is right for you. Because when you made the decision, you might have felt a little bit anxious, but you were more excited for what was going on next week. I get paid to exist. It's taken care of. No, but the rent is due on this date. No, I get paid to exist. That is when you do not allow the emotions to infiltrate what you have decided from your state of being. You say, all right, I see what's happening here, right? Because you've already thought for yourself so much that you decided to quit your job and say that you get paid to exist. So you've already took an action step and a mental step away from that paradigm. So what you have to do now is execute. You have to keep executing the new version of you. And that is when feeling is the secret, the wish fulfilled. That means I get paid to exist. This is what's processing as natural in my vessel. Yes, the ego might try to throw some shit at you, but that's your job to say, okay, these emotions, let me woo-saw them out because they don't mean anything. They're coming from the old story of thoughts that I've been programmed to. They don't mean anything. They're coming from the old story of thoughts that I've been programmed to, that I thought so much that it became a belief system that now the ego thinks that it has to defend this belief system, but that's not who I am anymore. And now it's my job to give the ego a new belief system to defend. And then your ego, when you start saying that and you really like this is where the magic happens. If you want the honest truth, the magic happens when you telling the ego, no, we're not doing this. We're not doing that. I see what's happening. You, however you let the emotions out, I'm not saying to ever suppress your emotions because they want to leave, right? Their energy in motion. Let them out. Oh, but you keep your thoughts in alignment because the thought is the command, because the thought is what creates a program, which is why when you were taught that you have to go to school to get a good job so that you could whatever, blah, 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 slave away to the system, it was a thought, right? You didn't feel anything. Okay, they didn't try to get you in your feelings and do it that way. No, it was a thought that just kept getting pushed and pushed and pushed. So now you have to be the one to educate yourself, and you say, you know what, I know the thought is the command. You have to be the one to educate yourself, and you say, you know what, I know the thought is the command and the emotions don't mean shit unless I assign them meaning, and the emotions are built up because the ego has a story that's trying to protect. So the ego has another layer and it's saying, you know, let's toss in this emotion to make it feel more real, that, oh shit, what did you do? You quit your job without a fucking plan B, and you think money grows on trees and it grows in your backyard, and but with this, but that, right? So the emotions are there. I might not be, but I believe that I am, and that's what I'm accepting is true. So here we the fuck are. I might not be, but I believe that I am, and that's what I'm accepting is true. So here we the fuck are. Do you see what I'm saying? Everything is a belief, but it's you as the sovereign individual that you have to choose what beliefs you want to keep around and what beliefs you want to get rid of. And when you are getting rid of a belief system because the ego has been attached to that, it's gonna, you know, you're gonna start having these emotions which you're not gonna pay attention to. You're just gonna let them that it's gonna, you're gonna start having these emotions which you're not gonna pay attention to. You're just gonna let them process out, and you're gonna say, okay, you know what, that's the old belief system leaving. And then you're gonna go back, I get paid to exist. And that, I guarantee you're gonna feel really calm and neutral with that. You might feel a little bit excited, but baseline, you might gonna feel calm, okay? And this is for anything. It's not just for money. It can be for SP, it could be for health, it could be for any type of anything, okay? But this is, it's just, I use different examples, and it's the money example today for whatever the fuck reason. And then that shit can happen. Yeah, it fucking can. But you know what? If everyone was doing that, there would be no manifestation fucking community, because the motherfuckers would just snap their fingers and the belief system would be gone. But if you want to know how to really dismantle a belief system, I just told you how it was formed. And I told you that the ego is attached to it. So now you have to be the one to keep giving the ego new thoughts. The thought is the command. The thought is the command. I get paid to exist, but rent is due. I get paid to exist. It's taken care of. But this bill is due. I get paid to exist. It's taken care of. What is due? I get paid to exist. It's taken care of. But this bill is due. I get paid to exist. It's taken care of. What your mama gonna think? It's taken care of. I get paid to exist. You have to be the teacher of yourself. I don't know why I'm doing a hand dance, but I always talk with my hands. Okay? You have to. You have to be your own teacher. You cannot listen to what anyone else is saying. This is why I don't like to answer questions. What should I do with this? Well, see, I don't know how you're going to. Why I don't like to answer questions. What should I do with this? Well, see, I don't know how you're gonna feel if you do that, if you don't do that. Is it gonna process as natural in your vessel? Do you care about an outcome? Then yeah, you probably should do it, because that's likely an inspired action. But if you're gonna, well, I want to get a reaction out of them, so I'm gonna stalk them. Are you feeling good doing that? Because I don't know. And that's where feelings matter. So I don't know, whatever action you take, this is why I'm telling you, I'm not telling anyone to quit their fucking job. Because if you quit your job, there's some motherfucker on TikTok said I get paid to exist, so I'm gonna say it. Like, if it resonates with you, and you'll know, because it's gonna feel natural. But if it's something where you're even like, oh, no, I would not do that. Okay, maybe in 2 weeks you quit your job. I don't fucking know. But right now, if something is causing you constriction, you don't like it, that shit ain't for you right now. Maybe it'll be for you tomorrow. I don't know. But that's how I can tell you how you can make an informed decision for yourself. And it doesn't matter what the fuck I say, because who am I? I'm God of my reality, but I ain't God of your reality. You're God of your reality. So if you're looking for someone else for answers, you need to look within, because you are the only one. So you expecting an answer from the fucking, the magician around the corner. Okay, so you're making the magician God? And like, I'm not saying if you're kind of like, I just want clarity on something I already know, then by all means ask someone. And if they're going to reflect back the dominant story you have going on, either about them or about the story you're inquiring about, then yeah, you're going to get that reflection back. But if you are coming, especially everyone who asks me about tarot readings, ain't nothing wrong with tarot readings, okay? You can get tarot readings, but they are there to get you clarification of something that you already know, or a way that maybe you're kind of like, I think this motherfucker might word something the way that I need it to be worded for it to click, for the information to jive with me, and I'm going to ask them, and then that happens. But there is no one that is dictating anything other than you and your experience. Even if you're saying like in my most recent live stream, someone asked, how do I stop viewing my parents as being strict? You just I don't know, maybe start saying they're easygoing, right? Because every question you ask, the answer is in there. The answer is in there. Do you see what I'm saying? So anything that you could ever ask, you have the answers, and I get it. Okay, especially when someone first, starts learning about this shit, they're like, am I doing it right? But as long as you're not thinking against the fucking desire, you're doing it right. Can I get an amen in this bitch? As long as you are not thinking against it, as long as you keep checking in with yourself every fucking minute. Do I feel constricted? Okay, I'm not gonna go there. Do I feel open and light? Okay, I'm gonna go there. Do I care if I get, when you're manifesting, when you're consciously creating, when you're consciously creating, there's an element that is not up to you. There is an unseen element, and this is how, manifestation can look woo-woo and magical, okay? Because you're not going to know how the fuck the thing is going to arrive, I promise you. You might have an idea, which is, again, it's coming from your ego. It's trying to predict, it's trying to control, but you cannot control that. You're not meant to control that, because God fucking consciousness is all there is. There's no control. How can there be control when the thing already is? What are you controlling? Nothing. You just, okay, this is it. And that is God consciousness. Control is coming from the ego again. So how to think for yourself. Let's to break it down a little more. How to think for yourself a little more. Are you trying to control the yourself a little more? Are you trying to control the outcome of the situation? Do you need it now? Do you need it? Oh, because if you need it, you don't fucking have it. Period. And that's God consciousness. And I know that a lot of you are going to say, oh, well, but manifestation, and if you're aware that you don't have the manifestation, then how can you say that you don't need it? Because maybe you do need it. Yeah, logically you might need it, right? To your ego you might need it, but your God self, who is everyone and everything, you need nothing. You need no one. Can you? Okay, right. You need something that you are. You don't need it because you are it, right? You've embodied it. Like, okay, this is something for everyone, because everyone can relate to this. Do you need a 3D vessel right now? Do you need a vessel? No, you do not, because if you are watching this, you are already possessing a 3D vessel, so you don't need one. Yeah, you might want to upgrade certain things about that physical vessel. You might want to, tweak it a little bit to make it, design it to your preference, but you don't need a vessel because you already possess it. And everyone can relate to that, because everyone who's watching this, that you're in a fucking body. I mean, maybe I have some ethereal viewers, I might, what's up? But for the most part, if you're on this live stream, you possess a vessel, okay? So you don't need your desire needs you to focus on it, to make it align to you. It needs you. You don't need it. You don't need the desire. What you need to do is get out of your ego, because your ego and manifestation do not mix. That's it. Okay? Now some motherfuckers are going to say, oh, well, I got really mad and I manifested my shit. Yeah, okay, anger, sure, we could say it comes from the ego, but what the fuck was your focus when you were really fucking pissed and you were throwing shit and throwing a tantrum? You were focused on your desire, weren't you? So there's no want, there's no unwant, there's no like, there's no dislike. There's like, but I should have had my shit already, and this is what I want, and that's what it doesn't, that was your focus. Your focus was desire, and maybe you were mad saying you didn't have it, but the desire was still your focus. This is why I'm telling you that emotions do not matter when you're manifesting. You can manifest in a blind rage. What is your focus? The emotions don't matter. And that's why also, if you're really angry, or if you're crying, or whatever thing you're going through in the 3D, your emotions don't matter. I mean, it matters that you process them out so they don't fester, but they don't matter in terms of, okay, but when you had that emotional explosion, what was your focus? Where were you thinking? Where were you thinking? Okay? Because if you're even fucking angry that you don't have your shit, and your focus is your shit, then it doesn't matter if you're angry, if you're not. Sure, it feels more pleasant when you're not angry, But it doesn't matter the emotions as long as you remain focused on your thing. It's the focus. And this, I am telling you, is the source of it. The emotions don't matter. I mean, even thoughts, I don't want to say thoughts matter. Thoughts are tools, they are the commands, but you know, you have to compute your desire to a thought. Okay, it's just that's how it, you know, that's just how it works. Okay, because you can't even articulate what the desire is unless you had a thought about it. So as long as your thoughts are on the thing, fuck this shit. Like even with SP, I mean, listen, SP is fucking in love with me. They can't live with fucking out with, I mean, go in. Listen, SP is fucking in love with me. They can't live with fucking out with, I mean, go in, fucking yell. It don't matter because your focus is on the thing that you want. But there's a difference between that and utilizing those emotions again as tools by keeping your thoughts in alignment. There's a difference between that and woe is me. Oh, SP doesn't want you. SP posted in fucking, I don't know, Kalamazoo, Michigan, and like, my dude, okay, woe is you. You feel like shit, and it's SP's fault, and they always make you feel like shit. Okay. Do you see the fucking difference there? There's a difference in personalizing an emotion and playing the role of the victim than saying, okay, this emotion is here, but you know what? I still got my fucking shit. That's right. So that's the only reason why emotions would matter. So I don't even know how long I was talking, but I mean, time doesn't exist. So that was just kind of like my my little sermon that I always start with a sermon. I mean, I don't always do, but I have been, and I like it, so I'm just gonna say it because it gets me revved up. So that's the thing. Your thoughts and emotions, they're tools. They don't necessarily matter, and you have to understand that unless it came from you, right? Because the divine idea, the thing that you want, it comes from you. It comes from your source of all that is, just giving you the thought that you want it in the 3D. It's sending you that signal in the messenger form of a thought. But the thoughts don't matter in and of themselves. How many thoughts do you have a day, right? Thousands. So they don't matter. It's the things that you entertain, the things that you're constantly being bombarded with. And that is why you can change your thoughts by the repetition. You can change the belief system by the repetition. And it's your job to just, say, this is what I want. Okay, feeling, process, process, process. I still have what the fuck I want. Like, okay, cool. And the more you do that, the less that those harsh emotions are going to come up because it's still training. So now you're training your body to, nip these negative emotions even before they come up. Oh, I feel that coming up. Nope, not today, motherfucker. And that's what it is. Just like in school, you were trained a lot of things, which I spoke on in the beginning, because it was a repetition of it. Because repetition builds belief. And repetition typically comes in thoughts that are that you're being given to constantly. So all right. Nothing but respect for my Pope. Aw, I love you. You watch my YouTube religiously. Aw, thank you. I appreciate all of you. So now I'm gonna finally get into the chat. I haven't seen that puzzle piece come up, so I guess I haven't been talking for an hour, but I mean, doesn't even matter if I was, because time doesn't exist. So, oh, I'm so amazing. Thank you. You're amazing too. Thank you for being here. Do you see it triggered by trying to flip your negative thoughts? But I took what you said and now, all right, that cut off. What? Okay, I don't know. I'm looking at what's going on in the chat, but I think I missed a bunch. So, what is up, everyone? How are we all doing this fine day, evening, night? I don't know, morning? Where is it? You simply go, nope, and that's not true, because the truth is, yeah, exactly. Everything is a story. Everything is a story, and I'm glad that you're able to like see through that in the grander scale of like, no, I'm the Lord and there is none else. What I say goes. It's not what someone else or something else, told me. Do you use AI to get a reflection of your thoughts? I personally I wouldn't even know how to go about doing that. So I guess the answer would be no for me, but I don't really know. What are my thoughts on Bashar's teachings? He's like anyone. He's like a Neville Goddard or a Florence Scovel Shinn. I mean, I see some of his videos come up and I do resonate with some of the stuff, but then some of the stuff I don't. So, and that's pretty much me. You could ask me about literally anyone who speaks about this type of thing, and I would just say, yeah, some of the stuff I resonate with and some of it I don't. Ooh, you think ChatGPT is just a reflection of yourself? Yeah, I think that's a good theory, because I mean, if everything is a reflection of self, ChatGPT would be no different, right? It would be the same thing. Ooh, it's 6 a.m. in South Africa. Oh my God. South Africa looks beautiful. I love it. I like that beach with the mountain. I forget what that beach is called, but I've looked at that. I'm like, oh my God, it looks so beautiful there. And you guys, it's like winter time there now, or it's getting to be winter. Ooh, 6 p.m. in Hawaii. I love Hawaii. Oh, I love it so much. I like any area where there's oceans and palm trees, to be honest. I like any area where there's oceans and palm trees, to be honest. So, ooh, Cape Town. Okay, yeah, autumn, because we're in like the spring now, so it makes sense. So definitely, like, always been on my bucket list. Like, I want to go to like the southern hemisphere, but I would have to do it during winter here. This way, it's summer there, and I could stay in the heat. Whee! Oh my God, it's freezing. I thought South Africa was a tropical country. I guess maybe not. Thank you for the likes and the shares. Ooh, Destin, Florida. Hell yeah. Well, palm trees and an ocean. Oh my God, I've seen Destin, Florida. Hell yeah. Well, palm trees and an ocean. Oh my God, I've seen so many videos on TikTok about Destin. The water looks so fucking amazing. Like, oh my God, I would be at the beach every Santorini. I heard that was like very touristy though, so I don't know. I'd maybe want to do something like quieter. I've always wanted to go to Ibiza. I love all those areas. What do you do if you change your mind after moving to Illinois and you want to go to the East Coast? You just start setting the intention that you've already moved back to the East Coast. I mean, if you have a particular, place in mind, I would say that particular place. Because East Coast, I mean, that could be anywhere from like Maine to fucking Florida. You know what I mean? So, make sure you're specific, or at least if you don't know where yet about the climate. Because the East Coast, I mean, that shit is fucking massive. If you don't know where yet about the climate, because the East Coast, I mean, that shit is fucking massive. Ooh, robotic affirming saved you. Ooh, robotic affirming saved you. I mean, yeah, because it's just like I said in my sermon, the thought, it's like the thought builds that repetition, and then it's become a belief system. Then your ego is going to be like, okay, this is a new belief system, and it works. The repetition works. Ooh, Connecticut. And I don't know how, but the way was made for me to go to Connecticut. And I don't know how, but the way was made for me to go to Connecticut perfectly and peacefully. Is setting the intention as simple as just one thought? Well, an intention for me is, oh gosh, okay. I'm gonna explain this in a metaphor because that's how I fucking do. So if you've ever been to a wave pool where it's like fake, I mean, they're not fake, but they're not ocean waves. They're like generated by a fucking machine, right? So the intention in my perspective is that first wave, right? The pool is flat, but then they start with the waves, right? They have waves at different timed intervals. Your intention is that first wave. It sets the trajectory, right? And then after that, you would keep up with your trajectory, right? And then after that, you would keep up with your mental diet in terms of not thinking against it. And then you might see that your thoughts naturally start becoming naturally in congruence with that intention that you set, because it starts the wave. Look and see, the grade that you want on it. Or you could just say, I'm so happy that I passed my exam. Whew, that shit was so much easier than I expected. Oh, it went by so well for me. Oh, I would just, set that intention. How do you feel about dating others while manifesting SP? That's a personal decision to every individual. So like I said in the beginning, I don't know how you're gonna feel. So like I said in the beginning, I don't know how you're gonna feel dating other people or not dating other people. If it seems like it's something that you want to do and you're like, okay, this, I don't know how you're gonna feel dating other people or not dating other people. If it seems like it's something that you want to do and you're like, okay, this feels nice, this feels natural, then yeah, you can date other people. But if you're like, no, like it makes you uncomfortable, then I would suggest not doing it. But everyone is different, and if you date other people while manifesting an SP, that doesn't matter, because the manifestation with you and SP, that timeline already exists and it's not going to go anywhere. Hey Donna, I'm good. What's going on? Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, because I see someone said, you can visualize a 10-second scene, but, a lot of people aren't visual. So if you're not visual, affirming is fine too. And it is helpful. Exam. I'm so happy I passed my exam. But ideally, I wouldn't suggest to anyone to go to sleep on a negative exam. I'm so happy I passed my exam. But ideally, I wouldn't suggest to anyone to go to sleep on a negative note, and I wouldn't suggest to anyone to go to sleep on, to wake up in a negative note. You want to, again, to anyone to go to sleep on, to wake up in a negative note. You want to, again, like the intention with the wave pool, you want to set the intention that things are going to go well. You're going to have a really good sleep. You're thinking about the things that you want to think about before you go to sleep. And then when you wake up, you want to think about the things that you want rather than things that you don't want. And that, I find, is very, very powerful, because, it's really setting the tone for your entire day, and night, if you want to look at it like that. So, yes, no matter what, always stick to this news story, definitely. Oh, good night, Katie. Thank you for being amazing. Thank you for being here. Yeah, this drifting from the waking consciousness to the sleeping consciousness, you go into the theta state, which is your very susceptible. Drifting from the waking consciousness to the sleeping consciousness, you go into the theta state, which is you're very susceptible to things. And then if you're thinking about something positive, it's like state, which is you're very susceptible to things. And then if you're thinking about something positive, it's like the theta state is helping. It's kind of like a super highway that's speeding that along into your subconscious mind. That's the way I look at it. Yeah, if you've manifested by looping a short scene and you're a natural visualizer, then definitely stick with that, because, if that's what works for you. Oh, good morning. Hello, Germany. How are you doing? Always stick to the news story. Hell yeah. Because everything is just a story. This is so interesting. I'm so happy that I have like all these different... All right, y'all know what I was doing. All right, y'all know what I was doing. Oh yeah, consistency is key, because if you're not consistent, you're going to cause wavering, which is likely... Oh yeah, consistency is key, because if you're not consistent, you're going to cause wavering, which is likely going to cause wavering in the 3D. This is why, you know, here we go with the SP. I'm going to just touch on it briefly, but even like, you know, with SPs, especially, I hear this a lot. If someone is saying they're in love with me, they're obsessed with me, oh my God, oh, well, they didn't call me. That's wavering. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's like, you really have to have discipline with yourself, and you have to pick a story that you want and stick with it. And the more you stick with it, the more natural it's going to process for you. And then that is the feeling of the wish fulfilled. You're just, hey, hey. Hey, hey. It keeps lagging. I'm not seeing a lag, but I don't, that's just on my end, so I don't know if it's lag. I'm not seeing a lag, but I don't, that's just on my end, so I don't know if it's lagging for you. I'm not seeing that though. Thought awareness is also very important. Yeah, seriously. Oh, it is? I don't know. I mean, anything, if you think about it, no matter what the manifestation is, if you're thinking against it, or even if you're thinking, where is it, how's it, manifestation is, if you're thinking against it, or even if you're thinking, where is it, how's it going to get here, that's going to cause wavering. And then in the 3D, because 3D is really a direct reflection of you, you're going to maybe see, especially with SPs, that I say my original thought is that they're going to like come on strong with SPs. That I say my original thought is that they're gonna like come on strong one day, and then they might vanish for like 3 days, and you're like, what happened? What happened is you were wavering in that individual. Me, I don't know. Sometimes it lags and sometimes it doesn't. But I'm not seeing anything, so I don't know. It's not really in my control here. See anything, so I don't know. It's not really in my control here. Oh, it's good. Okay, I don't know. I mean, listen, I have no idea. I have no idea. Like the lagging, I don't know. But then, okay, so we're talking about control, right? And what I'm saying is I have no control over the lagging. So this is what I was saying also about in terms of your manifestations. You don't have any control about how it gets there, because that's not your job. You're not designed to say, how is this going to get here, right? But the one that wants to control is the ego. It's not your higher self. So when you are trying to control anything, if you're like, oh, I had to text. So when you are trying to control anything, if you're like, oh, I had to text them so I could get an answer right away, that's coming from your ego. You're trying to control the 3D. And you're going to start to not even care about controlling the 3D, because you know that you are even care about controlling the 3D, because you know that you are operating at a certain frequency, and you know who you are, and you know what you want, and you're just like, I'm in alignment, so everything the 3D is just automatically going to work out for me. That is how you know that you have changed, because you're not even going to care about, oh, let me post a pic to get their attention. You're not going to give a fuck. And some of you in the chat might be like, wait, what you mean I'm not going to give a fuck? You're not, Because if you have really disciplined yourself, there's going to be a certain point where you're not even going to try to control anything in the 3D. You're just going to go about your day living in your mind, how they want to call it, delulu, whatever, and you will not care. You won't. Boring. If you were at the Diddy party, you would have killed the vibe and saved so many people. Are you okay? Like, I'm not sure what that has to do with manifestation, but maybe you're in the wrong chat with that one. What's my opinion on asking tarot cards to help in terms of, blockages? Okay, so with that, you want to stop saying that you have blockages, because you're creating blockages by you thinking that you have them, and is because you're creating blockages by you thinking that you have them. And if you're asking tarot cards, it depends. Like, I don't see an issue with so what version of you are you bringing to the tarot? So what version of you are you bringing to the tarot reading? Okay, you want to stop saying you have blockages, because tarot or not, if you're saying that you have blockages, then, if you really truly believe that, what you would want to do is start saying whatever blockages may have been going on in the past, they are dissolving right now. I have everything that I want. You'd start with that, but you wouldn't go into a tarot reading ideally like, oh, this is going to make or break the situation. It's like, okay, can you just, show me with the cards anything that I need to know about the situation? And if you're doing it occasionally, that's fine. Anything that I need to know about the situation. And if you're doing it occasionally, that's fine, but, be mindful of the energy even with that. Like, are you constantly like, but I need an answer? Like, then that's where you wouldn't want to go, because that's coming from a place of lack. Perceive that there's a blockage without creating one. If you're just saying all roads are open, there's no traffic on the freeway, me and my desires are here, like there's an open road, then that's what it's gonna be. Yeah, it's very trippy the way that the law works, because if you're saying that you have a block, or you're saying that you have a delay, you're really creating one, and now you could potentially be looking for shit that wasn't even there. Saying that you have a block, or you're saying that you have a delay, you're really creating one, and now you could potentially be looking for shit that wasn't even there. You don't have to accept anything that you don't want. Just keep saying it's not true. And this is where, motherfuckers talk about like delusional manifesting, but everything is a delusion. It's just a matter of what's getting repeated in your mind. Like I said in the beginning, everything is a delusion. It's just a matter of what's getting repeated in your mind. Like I said in the beginning with the programs. Okay, how do I know Pledge of Allegiance? Because it was programmed to me, and it was repetition. Okay, so it's still there, right? It's something that I care about. I don't care about not knowing it, but it's the repetition. So it comes from your mind. Everything comes from your mind. So if you're saying, oh, well, I'm manifesting this, but I'm looking for blockages, then your mind is saying, okay, yeah, then there are blockages. And then that's what you're going to get more of. But you're still creating it, because everything is coming from a thought and what you think about a situation. You're still creating it, because everything is coming from a thought and what you think about a situation. Super long, because I think the last one that I have was like 2 fucking hours. I didn't even realize. You keep getting triggered by the 3D because you keep seeing the opposite. Look at what you just said there. Do you see what you just said? You said, number one, you said that you keep getting triggered. Do you see what you just said? You said, number one, you said that you keep getting triggered. So then you're just going to create more of keep getting triggered. Then you said, because you're seeing the opposite. So you're saying you're seeing the opposite. So you're going to get more of seeing the opposite. And I know how this fucking sounds, because logically you're like, but that's the opposite. And the manifestation, there is no logic. Oh, okay, that happened. That circumstance is neutral, but your ego labeled it as opposite. Do you see what I'm saying? Your ego labeled something as a trigger. So you want to stop saying that. You want to stop saying that you're getting the opposite. And you definitely want to stop with that whole bullshit where motherfuckers say that there has to be a purge in order for you to get everything you want. Shit has to fall apart. Fuck that. That's a limiting belief, you know? Yes, this is going to go on YouTube at some point. You told yourself that you always see purple. Now you start seeing purple hair. Yeah, that's the way that it works. And, you know, I don't know if that's something you really cared a lot about, but it's still a successful manifestation. If you just like say different things randomly, you're going to see that they come up because you're saying that they come up for you. So you have to, you know, start seeing evidence of things. Oh, hello from Australia. I love Australia. I've never been. It's on my bucket list. I'm gonna say, I think I've said that in every live. I'm gonna keep saying it until I go. Let's manifest me a free trip to Australia. If you have, oh, hello from Italy. What is up? You have the strong urge to confess your feelings to SP. Is that an inspired action? I don't know. Is it? Do you feel like you just want to do it just because it feels light and it's like something you want to do and you don't care about an outcome? Or is it something where you're like, oh, but if I confess my feelings, I'm going to get a reaction out of them. They're going to say this. I don't know. So only you can be the judge of that. If it's inspired action, you're not going to feel like it's even an action. It's just going to flow from you. I would love to do a live stream in Australia. I'd love to do a live event in Australia. Hell yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Emerald. People forget that imagination is a true reality because everything came from imagination. Even how we're all sitting and chatting right now, it came from manifestation because someone had to think of creating, you know, apps and phones and tablets and things like that. Yes, here's the thing, okay? Anything that you do, you want to have no expectation of an outcome. But at the same time, you want to intend that it goes better than you expect. And this is what I say, and it sounds super contradictory. But if you think about it, okay, let's say you want to text SP, okay, you want to confess your feelings for SP. It's going to go better than I expect. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't care what's going to happen, but it's going to go better than I expect. And I really don't care if anything comes of this at all. I'm just going to do this for me, and it's going to go better than I expect. That right there, in my opinion, that's what true neutral is. You just go about your life. Okay, I feel like doing this. Well, if something comes of it, sure. Something doesn't, that's fine. Okay, then you go with it. I want to do this because I want to get a reaction. Whoa, that's not true neutral. That's like you hyped up something right there, right? Or even if you're really excited, oh my God, I want to text SP and I'm going to tell them that I love them. They're going to tell me too. That, you see, that's not true neutral. So true neutral, you really have no expectations, but you set the intention that it's going to go better than you expected, which I guarantee you your ego is not going to try to fight you on. Because if you leave it very, very general, it's going to go better than I expected. That it could be fucking anything. So your ego is like, there's nothing for it to latch onto and say, no, but this is going to happen, but that's going to happen. It's just like, well, if it goes better than you expected, even the expectation of the ego, which can be a pretty bad expectation, like they're always thinking the worst when they're thinking from the ego from a negative story, oh, it's going to go better than I expected. All right, maybe it can go 1% better. You see what I'm saying? It's not going to put a parameter on the ego where it's going to try to defend a story, but you're also setting the intention that whatever happens, I don't care because it's going to go better than I expected. Which it's, I know how it sounds, but if you start implementing this in every area, you're gonna start to see that your baseline is true neutral, and you're gonna stop caring about circumstances in general, even if it's with an SP, because I know SPs can be triggering. Yes, I have my pink nails now. How do you drop the fear that's in the back of your mind? You have been affirming and in the flow state. If you've been affirming and you're in the flow state, you're likely not going to even notice fear. And if you're affirming and you're in the flow state and you like see something maybe trying to come up, you just be like, no, that's not true. What I'm doing now is who I am, and what I'm seeing in my mind now is true, and you don't pay attention to it. Because really, the flow state, you're not going to have fear in the flow state. And that is the purest flow state. So maybe there are times that you've been in the flow state, but if you were, there would be no fear whatsoever. So you might have been wavering, because the flow state, you're just in it. You're not thinking about anything. You're not afraid. You're not happy. You're just going with it, right? How do you have an ego death? The ego, it doesn't die unless you vacate your vessel. And I know in like the spiritual community, a lot of individuals talk about ego death, and like, yes, it can happen in a moment, but it doesn't fully die where it's no longer in existence. Like, part of the parameters of the 3D Matrix video game is you have an ego, and the ego is what's telling you that I am me and you are you, and there's a separateness to our vessels, right? There's a different entity, okay? So you're not going to just, if the ego is dead, that means you're no longer in a vessel. So you can have like an ego death where it submits to you in the moment, and it's like, okay, like, and I find that what makes Mario Super Mario my favorite topping on pizzas and things of that nature. You can have like a mini ego death because you're not even aware of what the ego is doing, because you're just in that heightened state predominantly for the duration of that trip. But you're not gonna fully get rid of the ego. Like, it's just not gonna happen unless you vacate the vessel. Yeah, don't go hard with this. You're the operant power, relax, have fun, and trust. That's exactly what it is, because if you're taking something so seriously, then it's going to be serious, right? Because you're the one that's implying that it's serious. You wrote down things that you received, nice, lovely, and useful gifts with great value. Hell yeah. Listen, if scripting is what's working for you, then stick with that method. Your manifestation is yours, what you're still living your life as it is, as it should be, because the manifestation isn't going anywhere. It can't go anywhere because it's already done. That timeline is already assembled. It's just about you being in the flow state and just being like, okay, yeah, it's done, whatever, and that really is the wish fulfilled. There's no heightened emotion. You're just like, it's like an acceptance. Like, that's another way that I can describe it. When you've really like done affirmations or scripting or visualizing or whatever it is, okay, and at a point you might be like, you know what, there's nothing else for me to do, it's done. And then you just kind of like, all right, you accept that it's done. And that kind of feels like a relief, or that you don't care. It doesn't mean that the desire is not happening. It just means that you've accepted it as a part of who you are, and you've accepted it fully, and that's why you don't care. You're like, all right, whatever. So I think I'll do maybe one more question because I'm getting hungry, and I was already on for over an hour, and I don't want this to be super long to upload to YouTube. So does divine timing exist, or do we control timing of events? Divine timing, in my opinion, is another spiritual thing that they say. How you control timing of events is, it's going to seem like a paradox. It's like you control it, but you don't. And how you control time without consciously trying to manipulate time, trying to speed things up, like if I just do this now, then this will happen. No, okay, that's you're trying to control time on 3D level. How you control time on an ethereal level, which is the only way you can effectively control time, is you stay in alignment with your desire. You know it's done, and you're like, it's done now. There's nothing else for me to do. You just kind of, you're like, all right, it's done. And that's how you control time, because the moment that you accept that it's done and you don't care, you are now not even looking at time, and that is what essentially collapses a time. Okay, it's done. Timeline collapsed. It's done. You've accepted it. So, how you consciously keep aware that you are, collapsing a timeline. Where's your mind? I have the thing, I don't have the thing. I have the thing, I don't have the thing. I have the thing. Time is collapsing. Time is collapsing. Oh, I don't have the thing. Now you just said it. And then so the time started collapsing in this direction where you don't have the thing, to create a potential timeline where you don't have the thing. So don't be aware. I'm not saying don't be aware of it, like, in your day-to-day life or whatever, but in terms of the manifestation, you're not going to dictate. You're going to say, I've accepted that, it'll happen when it happens. And I mean, you really have to say this to yourself. And even if you're just saying it to yourself at first, I don't care when it happens. I don't even care if it happens. Let me just, whatever, it's done. It's fine. There's nothing for you to do. If you keep saying that, even if you don't believe it, then of course the repetition of you even saying you don't care when it happens, or even if it happens, it's gonna give you this relief from the urgency of time. So you can say that you don't care about the timing, and essentially that will work to collapse the timeline. But how you really collapse timelines is you stay in alignment with it. You're like, it's already done. There's nothing else to do. Like, what can I do? Nothing. Because I revisited the OA, and I fucking love that show because I made a few videos about it. Spoiler alert if anyone cares to watch that. But I think it was the second season, where the main doctor dude, he meets this lady who's also like a time traveler, and they're talking about it. And she's saying, how to jump a timeline. It's kind of like you're stepping into a vehicle that's already in motion. Okay, and that resonated with me for some reason, because, in shows they show you how it really is, and they call it science fiction, because again, another indoctrination shit, but, that's another topic. So she's saying that, when she went into a timeline, it's like, she's like, whoa, what, like, it was kind of like alien, like, what's going on? Because it was already in motion, because that means that timeline where, let's say you are living your dream life, you're with the SP, you have the perfect body, everything is perfect. It's already in motion now. It's moving now. So you're not collapsing the timeline, you're collapsing your awareness of time, and you're just focusing on that one slide. Okay, SP proposed. Okay, SP proposed. Okay, SP proposed. Whatever the fuck it is. Okay, I have this $6 million. I have the $6 million. I have the $6 million. Whatever it is. Okay, that slide, there's a whole timeline connected to that one slide, that picture of that place and space that you're picturing. And it's already in motion. There's a version of you that has that experience. But you, from here, from your logical perception, it seems like the timeline is far away, but the timeline, it's there, and it's been in motion, just like your current timeline has been on motion. Just like you can go to another timeline that's already in, they're all in motion. But you are stepping into one slide. of that timeline. And then you're like, whoa, what's happening? And this, in my opinion, is what energetic portals are. And I was going to make a video, maybe I'll make a separate video on this. But, you know, when I thought of that, when you asked that question, and then, you know, I remembered I rewatched the OA, and then she's talking about that she stepped into a body that was already in motion. This is an energetic portal. And this is just something that I view. Okay, I don't know if anyone else has had this experience, but from my personal experience, an energetic portal is like, it feels like you're just being moved into another timeline, and time will seem to speed up. Shit will seem like it's moving super fast for maybe a day, maybe 2 days. Typically, it doesn't happen like for, I mean, I don't even want to say typically, in my experience, because everyone's experience is different, but for me, it's been maybe like a day or two, and things are like whoa, like I can't believe this is like, it just happened. And not in a bad way, but it's kind of like you stepped into something that was already moving. And that's how you can tell that you've jumped a timeline. It's like, I can't describe it anything other than energetic portal. Like, shit will just seem to align out of the fucking sky, but it's in the direction that you want to go. And it's like, just go. And you just go with it. And shit just, oh, this happened magically, that happened magically. And it's just like you're moved into it. Okay, so this can happen literally. This can happen metaphorically. It can, you know, it's just, you're going to seem like there's a whole bunch of things that just align at once, and they put you in another spot. Okay, maybe physically, maybe in your, you know, mental awareness, but you will seem like shit just moved fast and everything aligned. And that is because that timeline is already in motion, because everything is already in motion. Everything is always in motion. Nothing rests. Everything moves. Everything vibrates. And I know what I said in a lot of my videos where I'm saying that timeline is waiting in suspended animation. Yes, that particular slide. Okay, but it still has a timeline where it's moving. Okay, but that moment where you and that slide enter, it's one slide, you enter that. And it's still vibrating with waves, even though I'm saying it's not going anywhere, but it still has its own timeline. It's very trippy. Like, I'm super visual, so I'm seeing it. I don't know how artfully I'm articulating it, but it's like, when I say that the timeline is waiting in suspended animation, right? Because you turn your attention away from it and you focus on the 3D, that timeline, it's still not going anywhere. It's still functioning as a timeline. But that particular moment in that timeline, the slide where, let's say, the SP proposes to you, it's not going anywhere because the timeline, it cannot go anywhere. It's already been written. So you are essentially stepping into the version of you that is getting the proposal from SP, right? That slide is not going anywhere, but because that timeline is always in motion, you're moving with it. Do you see what I'm saying? All the timelines are moving together, but it's just you pick that one slide in that reel of that timeline where you and SP is going to propose, whatever, let's just say. And then you pick that, but then you turn your attention away. It doesn't mean that it ceases to exist. It's just like your awareness is not on it, but it's not going anywhere. It's staying there until you put your awareness on it again, but it's still moving in and of itself in its own place in space. That was a lot. I hope you understood that, because I fucking saw that shit clearly with my mind. But like, it's a lot of times like I talk so fucking fast because it's like I'll get this information and then my mouth cannot keep up, because it's like, boom, remember, because time doesn't exist. So I'm like this is what it is. This is what it is. And I can't even speak that fast. I wish I fucking could, but it's very interesting, these energetic portals, because you will just feel like this surge of momentum because you're being pushed in that timeline. Like in the OA, like when she said, you know, I feel like I was just put in a body that was already in motion. Yes, because the version of you in that timeline has been existing this whole time. You were just focused on the timeline you're in now. Really fucking trippy shit, you know. Okay, I'll do one more question, and then I'm hungry. I said I went off on a tangent, but oh, the Kybalion. Oh, I love the Kybalion. That, like, literally one of my like must reads. Power of Awareness. Yes, that's a great combo. This is a kind of deep knowledge that used to take lifetimes to learn. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying the show. Yeah, I mean, I just get this information, and even in the moment, because like I don't know what the fuck I'm ever gonna talk about. When I go on lives, I might have maybe some notes, like, okay, let me start off with this, but I don't know what the fuck is gonna happen. And things happen in the moment. You see, I set the intention. I'm gonna talk about some interesting shit that's gonna resonate, and then whatever flows through, flows through. So I don't know where a lot of this, well, I mean, it comes, I guess, from my higher self, if you want to think about it, but it just comes through like super quick. And I'm like, oh my God, how am I even going to express this that fast? Oh, thank you. You love my voice? Um, Do you meditate to manifest? Okay, so we'll do this as a question because I feel it could benefit a lot of people. You don't need to meditate to manifest. You don't need to do anything to manifest because the manifestation is already done. You simply can just say, this is what I want. I have it. It's mine. Okay, live your life, not think about it again. The thing can come into your experience. Now, what meditation does is that it can help you come to a place of stillness where, stillness, if your mind is silenced, right? Because in meditation, it's typically, it's purported to help you to alleviate thoughts and things like that. You're just at the place of like oneness and isness. What that can do is help to alleviate any, thoughts that you might have in regards to the manifestation that contradict it. So it can be beneficial, like if you feel that it just relaxes you and it helps you get more in the state, but you don't need to do that to manifest. It's just a personal preference. Because remember, manifestation is like breathing. We're all doing it. You just were programmed from an early age that that's not the way things are. Like if you had been taught that, yes, your thoughts create your experience and you can have whatever you want. And if that was taught, I mean, this matrix society, it wouldn't be the way it is right now if you were taught how to use your mind and how to think instead of what to use your mind for and what to think. So, I think I'm going to end this here because I've been saying I was hungry and I'm really fucking hungry. And this will be on YouTube for anyone asking. So let me, jump off here. And they muddy the waters to make it seem deep. I mean, that could be very, very true. Yes, thank you all for joining me and for the likes and the shares and the comments and the conversations and the gifts. This will be on YouTube for everyone. I don't know how long it's going to take to like upload and then, whatever, but I don't think this one is super long, which is, kind of how I take to like upload and then, whatever, but I don't think this one is super long, which is, kind of how I want to keep it so that it's easier to upload. I always say that, but I'll say it again. And we had a nice to upload. I always say that, but I'll say it again. And we had a nice session here. I appreciate you all for joining me, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.